I thought it was a good one to start with. We were able to get those freshmen some quality minutes. Even Collins, 6 minutes action, was able to get 5 rebounds, so he had some activity done. But thought London, Davion, and Mari really helped getting them as many minutes as we could. I thought Mari did some really good things. I mean, shoot his stat line was pretty good on the night. He was able to. He had 12, 7, and 5 with only 1 turnover. Led the team in plus minus with plus 30. Won the hard hat, the blue collar stuff. So I think he was about the right stuff. Thought it was big to get. I thought Davion made some really good plays. London made some good plays. So we get those freshmen some quality minutes before we go play these next 4 games was big. Barron ended up with a career high, which I think that'll probably get broken here pretty soon, I would think. But, I thought he had some good stretches. We needed to be better on defense. We needed to take care of the ball better, but I thought he made some really good plays, showed what he's capable of. It'd be good to get some of these injured guys back. I would like to see where they come. They're all day to day. Keaton's got an ankle injury. Holloway's got a wrist injury, and Rachel's got a finger injury. Rachel's Achilles is fine. He just hurt his finger in the Furman game, hurt it in practice. So, I think all 3 of those guys getting back would be big. We need some rebounding at the 4 spot. It's really lacking right now, so Keaton can help us with that. I think having extra handlers out there probably hopefully help with the turnovers. We've got way too many turnovers. Our 2 exhibitions, and now this one, I think we're averaging 15 turnovers a game. So, but all in all, for the first game, playing as many freshmen as we did, as many minutes as we did, there's a lot of good stuff we can get out of this game.
Start on the right here, Charlie.
I know you talked about the turnovers, especially with LeBaron, but with him with 8 assists, what do you think of him as a facilitator tonight?
Yeah, I thought we could have done a better job giving him outlets against their aggressive pick and roll coverage. A few of his turnovers he's got to do better at. I thought we could have helped him a little more though, and I was a little disappointed with how we attacked their pick and roll coverage as a group, not just like the one handler in it. But he's going to have plenty of games where he's got 8 or more assists. I mean, he's going to have plenty of double doubles. I think if he give us a little bit better effort on defense and rebounding stuff, he could push triple double here. Kind of at any point with what he's capable of.
Up front with Joe.
Coach, you mentioned it in your opening with the freshmen, but what do you think is the next step for those guys after a pretty strong start?
Yeah, I think you see them get a little bit more comfortable with some of the decision making. Mari, Mari's pretty good, but I think Amari's got more to him, just kind of running the offense, moving guys around. I thought some of his defensive playmaking made some big plays on defense. I think Davion's defensive intensity's there. I think he'd be a really great lockdown guy for us. He overdrove it. He had 4 turnovers, way too many for a guy that doesn't handle it as much as he did, but I think he'll learn from it. He's really coachable. He's a great kid. I think his effort, you saw his athleticism when he got that dunk. But, defensively, those 2 guys are long, athletic guards that can guard multiple positions. And then London, he plays hard. He goes to the old boards. He can make shots. He didn't shoot it great tonight, but he's a shooter. He hit the 1-3. I think he's got a lot more in him as a shooter, and even, as a rebounder. He had 2 old boards, but I think we can get more out of him on the defensive glass too.
Blake?
What did you think of Houston's impact tonight on the offensive glass and really just as a leader?
They play so hard. I told our team in the locker room after, some of you guys are struggling to go get offensive rebounds. Like Taylor, he had 0 in the exhibition. He doesn't get offensive rebounds ever. Go look at Houston, study Houston's film. Goes every time. He had 4 boards. We had 11, but three of those were team boards, so there was 8 offensive rebounds assigned to an individual, and Houston had half of them. So he plays so hard. He has to ask to come out of the game. He gives so much effort. We've got a lot of guys on the team that are learning from, but we have a few guys that need to learn how to play as hard as Houston plays. And if they did, we'd be a lot better team. So I think Houston can lead because he's the hardest playing guy on the floor all the time. He's the ultimate teammate. He gets super fired up whenever his teammates do well. You know, Houston's all about the right stuff, in my opinion. He's a winner. He impacts winning at a high level. You know, Amari led the team plus minus with 30, but Houston and LeBaron were right there at plus 29 when they were in the game. So I think Houston does a lot to impact winning.
On the left, Emily.
Hey coach, 4 blocks for Aiden Sherrill tonight. What were your thoughts on his performance?
Loved Aiden's rim protection. We've been on him to protect the rim. I thought he did exactly what we wanted to do on that end. You know, with 4 blocks, you know, I'm really happy with what he gave us on the defensive end. So rebounded a lot better in the second half. He had 0 at the half, ended up with 4 there in the second half, all on the defensive end. So defensively, protecting the rim, we need him to rebound it a little bit better, but I thought in the second half he picked that up on the defensive end.
Katie.
LeBaron just said that he wanted to work on being stronger and driving and finishing the paint. Just kind of, what did you see him this offseason working on that, and then how did it translate tonight?
Yeah, I think he's gotten stronger. I think you saw a bump off drive, he finished. He's able to get down there. I think he's got to get fouled more. You know, you saw how good Sears was getting the free throw line. I think Barron's got to get better at that. But he was a way more aggressive driver getting downhill. I think Coach Fleming came from the NBA for 10 years. He brought a little bit different offense philosophy in some regards, open up the floor a little bit more. Maybe give LeBaron a few less ball screens sometimes. I thought today we should have done a little bit more of that, or just keep the ball screen away and let him come downhill, attacking the slots early. I think he's been pretty good at it. I think fits him pretty well. So, you know, I think LeBaron's going to show a lot this year.
Nick Kelly.
A little off the wall question. You ever had this many Wisconsin guys on the floor at one time?
I've never had this many Wisconsin guys on a team. I don't think we've had any on the team down here since I've been here. So it was great. And we see how hard they play. Mari and Davion both like high effort, a lot of tough plays. Trying to get, I know Mari won the blue collar and trying to get the final blue collar. So, yeah, Mari won it with 22 and a half, and Davion was second with 19 and a half. So the Packers didn't quite come through for us. I don't know what this shenanigans in the front row tonight is about, but the Bears looked a little better than the Packers. But the Wisconsin kids gave us an effort tonight, that's for sure.
In the back.
So with a team of a lot of new players, a lot of young players, Houston Millette, one of the few seniors on the team, injured last year. You kind of went over a little bit, but just as a leadership aspect, how do you see him leading on the floor tonight?
Yeah, you saw his effort. He's the hardest playing kid on the floor every time he steps on. You saw his enthusiasm for his teammates' play. I've never met a kid so engaged in making everybody better and making sure that the team's doing what they're supposed to be doing when he's on the floor. Asks a lot of really good questions, plays super hard. I mean, he has to come out of the game like pretty much every time he's in. He just empties his tank and then says, "Coach, I need to come out." And we get him back in, and he empties it again. Like, we need more guys that are willing to empty the tank, come out. You know, doing all that, he still ended up with quite a few minutes. I mean, he played over 28 minutes tonight. So I'm not sure that you go in, you empty your tank, you ask for a break. I'm not going to sit you there for long. Like, if you play that hard, you're going to get back in pretty quick. So I just think he's about winning. He's about being a great teammate. We've got Reitzel that's hurt right now. Those 2 fifth-year seniors, I think, can really help lead this team. But it was great to see Houston be able to play that many minutes tonight.
2 more, stay in the back.
You know, 4 straight games with top 25 opponents coming up here. How prepared do you think your team is for that stretch coming up here?
Yeah, I think this game, and obviously we'd have liked to have everybody healthy, but we didn't, so it forced us to play these freshmen a lot more. I think it helped getting them some game minutes. We're going to have to play significantly better Saturday than we did tonight, but we'll have some guys ready. We'll have rotation a little bit better. We'll put the guys that play hard, because St. John's plays extremely hard, that's why they're good. You know, we'll put the hard playing guys in the team, we'll put the guys in that can take care of the ball. We'll make sure we got a little bit better plan to hopefully attack the pressure on the defensive end. But, you know, we're gonna get better over these next 4 games, that's for sure. Like, I don't know what our record's gonna be after the 4, and it doesn't really concern me as much as getting better every game. You know, we gotta beat our best come SEC play. I think playing a bunch of cupcakes and teams that don't really expose your weaknesses, if you will, like we'll get exposed here in these next 4 games. I just don't think we get that much better. So we'll play a really good St. John's team on the road at Madison Square Garden, back home against a really good Purdue team. Got to go to Chicago and play Illinois, and then we get Gonzaga, and they're all very different teams, and they're all very good teams, and we're gonna have to play really well to beat any of them. And no matter what our record is, after the first 5 games of the season, going into that UNLV game, we'll be significantly better going into that game than we are right now.
Last one, Drew.
Coach, I know when he first got here in June, Noah Williamson kind of had an adjustment with the pace, and then he had a modest stat line tonight. I know he missed Florida State with a knee, but talk about the skill set he brings. I thought he did some things that were kind of didn't show up in the box score, but they could help you this year.
Yeah, no, he's smart. He's very skilled. You saw him make the one play in transition with the left-hand layup finish. I thought, you know, most 7-footers aren't making plays like that. You know, he did have 4 rebounds in 14 minutes, which is good. You know, he's not afraid to put his body on somebody. You know, we'll put the ball in his hands a decent amount. He had no turnovers, which is good. I thought, you know, he took the 1-3, missed it, but he's a capable shooter. He's gonna make shots. He's, you know, right at mid-30s, 3-point shooter. If he's got his feet set, stepping in, he makes them at a pretty high clip. So I think having another 7-footer that can rebound it, stretch the floor, you know, use his body, set good screens, the skill level he's got, put the ball in his hands on the perimeter to draw the other team's rim protector away from the rim, will really help our offense. And I think he's pretty good defender. He's got quick hands. We'll have to put him in different types of ball screen coverages. He's not, you know, not the vertical athlete maybe that some of our other guys are, but he's got some athleticism in some other areas.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks,
All right,
everyone.
appreciate you guys. Good seeing you later.